Hey Internet, Eric here. Uh, if you know me, you knew that this video would be coming. I did a short on it earlier. Uh, let's just get right to it. I don't know how long this video is going to be because I love the original subject matter, but today I'm going to discuss 2024's version of The Crow. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. There we go. New to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, and I'm stating that right now. I am going to discuss spoilers, even though this movie is less than a week out in theaters. If anyone knows me, they know that The Crow is the one from with Brandon Lee is my favorite movie of all time. I'll get into that when I eventually, as of this recording, I have not discussed it. I'll get into that eventually, how much I love that film. I've done videos before on the hate that came out on the Crow film, this version, before it came out. I have a video on that. I've been on other streams, Marty's Trash Picture Show. I've discussed it there. So I was going into this very excited, very interested because of how much I love the original film. I really enjoy one of the straight-to-video sequels. I enjoy one of them because it's so bad it's good, and I don't like another one. But I went into this very excited because I'm also one person who says remake everything. I've stated that before. Remake everything because the original movie is never affected. And you might miss a good film when it comes to watching said remake. I really enjoyed this film. And here's why. First off, the basic plot of this is it's basically the same thing with some more supernatural elements to it. We are following Eric and Shelly. They are a couple madly in love, and they are murdered by a group of people that work for Danny Houston. And Eric is given the power to come back to life to murder them. And he has to, I've only seen it once, and it's been a few days. He has the power to, put the wrong things right, and he's able to save her soul and actually bring her back to life. And I think he's allowed to bring himself back to life until he fucks up. We'll get to that. And that's it. I went into this not expecting it to be anything like the original film. Just an Eric and Shelly character, a guy coming back to life to kill the people that killed him. Bill Skarsgård. I really liked him. I liked his take on Eric. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they ever say Draven. It doesn't matter to me, but a lot of people have a problem with this film, mainly because it's an Eric Draven character. That's their prerogative. I really liked Bill Skarsgård. I liked how he was, he came from this broken family. His mother was an alcoholic. He very tortured, drug addict. It's a different take on the character, and I bought how much he loved Shelly. You know what I mean? There are scenes where he is in the afterlife, I guess you would say. There's a place that's between worlds. I'm gonna just call it, for the sake of lack of a better term, the afterlife. When he fucks up a few times, or when he's learning what he is at this moment. I really like his performance. I buy that he is doing this for her. He's not doing it for him. He's doing it for her. There's some problems with him later on, but overall, I really liked Bill Skarsgård's performance. FKA Twigs, I think, is her name. Never heard of this woman before this film. I guess she is a musician, or I don't know if she's a rapper, if she's what she sings, if she just makes music. I liked her in this. I liked how she was kind of mesmerized when she first meets Eric. They're both in a rehab center because she has some shit hit the fan and she bumps into some cops. They find some drugs on her and they throw her into the same rehab facility that Eric is in. Like I said, Eric is he's a former drug abuser. There's little shots, like this director, when Eric's in his cell and she just walks past the window and she just gives him this look, and she's during orientation, and then she goes back and doesn't think nothing of it. She tries to befriend him at lunchtime. And Eric is guarded. She kind of warms up to him. Or how would I say? She's already interested in him. Maybe she helps him cool down. You know what I mean? Open up a little bit. I like that. Eventually they do escape the in one of the easiest way to escape a rehab center, because they're armed guards and barbed wire and shit like that. They make it seem so fucking easy to escape it. I like how we get a time lapse of their love. I like how we get a time lapse of just them doing things together. And that, in my opinion, is actually an improvement over the original film. And like I said, I'm saying this as the original film is my favorite movie of all time. And it's not without its faults. I will say this is it's a far from perfect movie. You know what I mean? I understand some people's connections to it. But this, I think, it helps. This is an improvement because we get to know these characters. We get to know why they love each other. We get to follow them on this journey. As good as the original was with the flashbacks, we little bits and pieces sprinkled in here and there. I liked how we were able to follow these two on their journey. And I don't understand why a lot of people are saying they didn't have chemistry at all. This isn't like what's his face and Khaleesi from Terminator Genesis. You know what I mean? When it's Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor, they're supposed to have chemistry because their love is going to give them the son who is going to lead the resistance. They had no fucking chemistry at all. I think Bill Skarsgård and FK Twigs had some chemistry, and I've seen it in other interviews where they're just so playful to each other. One of my favorite scenes is when they're watching the movie in the rehab center. He's looking at her and then watching the movie, and she knows he's looking, so she looks and she just, playful, sticks her tongue out type of thing. I really like that. The violence is this movie is very fucking violent. And I like, because here's a little twist. Before we get to the violence, let's talk to another character that I really liked. It was the character who was helping. How would I say this? He doesn't train Eric, but he tells him his powers. You know what I mean? His strengths, his weaknesses. This character was very mysterious. He had a feel to him. He's like, I want to know who this guy is. I'm glad we didn't know. We didn't really know his backstory. Are you an angel? Do I look like an angel? That type of thing. And he does look like he has this mentor type role. But when Eric fucks up, because there is a scene where, this guy, I'm just going to call him the angel, for lack of a better term. The angel tells Eric, you can heal, your healing will continue as long as your love doesn't lose its faith. And there is a scene where he thinks that Shelly isn't the person that she is, because he's delving into more of why was Shelly killed? Why was she targeted by this guy? And he sees something, and he loses a little bit of faith in the person that she is, and that causes him to lose the healing factor, I guess you would say. And this angel guy, he doesn't sugarcoat it. He basically says, you fucked up. I gave you the rules. I told you what you had to do, and you messed it up. So now, every time you get shot or anytime you get stabbed, you're fucked. So I liked him because he was no nonsense. Now let's get to the violence. This is probably the bloodiest of all 5 of the films. Stabbings, neck snaps. Like there's a scene where a guy gets stabbed or shot. He falls down, his head lands on the stairs. Eric stomps on it, and his neck does like that. So many shootings, so many stabbings. Oh God, there's one guy that, because the final fight with all the thugs, I guess you would say, Eric has a katana, slices a dude across the mouth, jaw's gone. Some of the creative bullets, one guy he's driving, he gets shot through the cheek, but he's still able to stay alive. But we still see a good practical effect here, and the blood shoot on the window. Very, very, very violent. What else is there good to praise? I like how eventually, after Eric fucks up. Oh wait, first let's talk about the violence. There's some really cool stuff. Like, we get to see the healing happen. He gets shot in the back, and we get to see that the bullet hole close. He gets stabbed. He gets gutted. As he's healing, he has to push his intestines back in his body. We get that close-up of him pushing his intestine back in the body, and then suddenly, the slit, closes up. I really dug that. So the creativity in some of that stuff. What was I saying? I don't remember. I really like the fact that when he knows he fucks up, that her soul will not be saved type of thing. He decides to give his soul for hers. Again, he shows how much he loves her. He's doing it for her, not him. So I like that. One thing a lot of people were saying when they saw the trailer to this, they thought it was going to be like John Woo style violence. And I think a lot of it was because of that fight scene in the car. That's a very sloppy scene. You know what I mean? Eric is not a good fighter. He gets his ass kicked. He gets his ass kicked a lot. Like, there are times when he gets the shit beaten out of him. He gets thrown out of that car. Then he gets up, gets hit by a truck and ran over. Brutal stuff. Like, there's a scene where he's got a compound fracture in his leg. He's got to fix it and then it heals. He's not a great fighter. And I like that. He's not this wonderful martial artist that Brandon Lee was. Now, this is far from a perfect movie. Let's get to a change in tone. He's not a good fighter until he gives his soul up. Then there is this tonal change that I do have a problem with. Because now Eric has become this unstoppable killing machine. His attitude has changed. He's more, I guess you would say, focused. And then once he puts on the crow makeup, he is just this dude who shows up and he's killing all the bad guys, all the thugs, you know, the bodyguards and this and that. But then he goes from what it seems like how he wants to kill for revenge, for his love, to just killing for the sake of killing. And the reason what I mean about that is, you know, he decapitates a couple people. It's this great over the top, you know, fight scene, him killing everybody while an opera is happening. So you got it super, you know, cut in between all the violence and then the beautifulness of the opera. But then he changes and he's decapitating people and he carries their heads. He carries one person's head into the office of a woman that's working for Danny Houston, who we'll get to. And he talks to her and she's crying and begging and then he decapitates her. And then just because why the fuck not? During the curtain call, he walks past all the actors and actresses on stage and he's got the two heads and he just chucks them into the crowd. Why? Why did we need that? That was stupid. You know, I didn't like that tonal change of the character. I mean, if you want to make him immortal and you want to make him some fucking samurai warrior, I'll run with it. But when you kind of just make him a killer for killer's sake, don't like that. Danny Houston. Okay. I've got no problem with the villain in a Crow film being supernatural. The fucking villain in City of Angels was supernatural. He sucked. I believe there was some supernatural devil worshipping stuff to my knowledge in Wicked Prayer. Whatever. This is a movie about a guy who comes back to life. You know what I mean? So I can handle supernatural stuff. The problem is Danny Houston, and the problem is, like, another thing that a lot of people don't, and I agree with not liking about this film, is the villains are not memorable at all. The villains, at least in the original film, were super memorable. Top Dollar, everybody, Top Dollar. Oh my God, Skank, you know, Tintin, everybody. They served a purpose, and you remembered them. And, you know, they wouldn't leave your mind. Like, wow, these are scumbags, but they're entertaining scumbags. I didn't give two shits about any of the villains in this movie. They were there just to get shot and chopped up. And Danny Houston is this guy who sold his soul to the devil or some bullshit like that. He's able to manipulate you by whispering in your ears. That's what happens to a scene with Shelly that causes Eric some doubt because he sees it on a video of it. He actually whispers to Eric, trying to help get his power, you know, by whispering in his ear and something like that. He just sucks. He sits there, listens to some opera, talks on the phone, causes there is a creepy scene or a sad scene where he causes Shelly's mom to take herself out, but he's just kind of there. And this character kind of fucking sucks because he doesn't do anything. This final confrontation between him and Eric is very disappointing. I mean, I liked how, like I said, spoilers, I like how him and Eric brings him into the other world, the afterlife, however you want to describe it. I wish the fight was longer. Eventually, he does. Eric gets the upper hand and defeats him, and these demons or snakes or some bullshit pull Danny Houston down into the water. I guess it's very lackluster. And then there's some questions about the ending. Now, Eric gave up his soul so Shelly could not only not have her soul in hell, but bring her back. Because as I said, they can be brought back. And literally, after Danny Houston is killed, we cut right back in time to where Shelly is being brought back to life by clear the paddles, that type of thing. One of the paramedics is the angel, and she looks over and sees Eric's dead body. So, and me and Marty from Trash Picture Show, we also wondered, so apparently they went back in time because they're at the moment of their deaths. But does that mean that Danny Houston and the hundreds of other members of his gang or group of thugs, are they not killed? Are they killed and their souls are in purgatory? And then we go back in time? It's very confusing. At least for me, maybe a rewatch would help me. But it is cool to see that she does get to live this life that she wanted to live. Eric's soul is still stuck in the afterlife because he cannot go to heaven or hell. He says a line that makes it seem like it is open for a sequel, which will not fucking happen, I guarantee you, because of how this movie is bombing. But if there would be a sequel, I mean, there's no way he could be with Shelly because she's now living the good life. She's happy. Overall, as a person who has said that the original is his favorite movie of all time, I really enjoyed this. I really thought The Crow 2024 was really good. I really enjoyed FKA Twigs. I really enjoyed Bill Skarsgård. I thought their chemistry was great. The violence is violent as hell. Read the source material. Really fucking violent comic book. There were some nods. The nods with the horse. That happens in the comic. I believe how much Bill Skarsgård loved FKA Twigs. Eric loved Shelly. I believe that a lot. But, yeah, it's definitely without his faults. The question about the time jump, the lackluster, I guess you would say, final battle. Danny Houston is just there. He doesn't really do anything. I don't know where I'd rank it because, like I said, eventually, as of this recording, I haven't talked about any of the other films on this, but it's not deserving of the hate, I don't think. I think people can't get past their love of the first one, their hate for remakes, whether it's crapping on Brandon Lee's legacy. Listen, they're not crapping on Brandon Lee's legacy, when we've already had 3 other films afterwards. Yes, it's not Eric, whatever, I don't care. But like I said before, maybe he wouldn't have a legacy and he'd still be making movies if the working conditions were a lot safer. So it's not the remake's fault that Brandon Lee is dead. He did not die for his movie. He was not murdered on set. It was an accident. Someone fucked up. It's not the remake's fault. But the problem is the hate has already done its damage. It's nice seeing a lot more positive thoughts come out about this. A lot of people are actually sitting down and watching the film and saying, hey, it's got its problems, far from perfect, but there's some good in this. And it's good to see that, but the damage has been done. Some people are saying this is the worst movie of the year. I don't know about that because I don't get out to the movies much, but I know a lot of people hated fucking Borderlands and Cuckoo, and I don't see any positive sayings about those 2 films, but I am seeing some positive sayings about The Crow. So that's it. It's good for a matinee. Go out on a Saturday or a Sunday. Shout outs to Marty. He's the one that said that. Saturday or Sunday where the tickets are cheaper. 2 hours. It's a fun. Well, I wouldn't say it's fun, but it's a dirty movie. But it's a good love story. Great action. Mindless violence. I do recommend. 2024 is The Crow. Make up your own mind. Don't go into it thinking it's going to be anything like the original, though. So whether it's a reboot, reimagining, it's basically its own thing. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment below. Tell me what you thought. Did you actually like this film? Do you fucking hate it? Do you refuse to see it? Anything you want to say about this film, I'd like to hear it. You know, I would like to hear if you're one of those people that realize, hey, it's a lot better than I thought. So, anything planned? Let's see here. I do have a video coming up soon. I'm gonna want finally sit down to see if Alien Covenant is worth all the hate it's getting. I'm gonna get into the Howling franchise eventually, and on Friday the 13th of next month, Frenzy and I are reuniting, getting back together, and he's going to discuss the Friday the 13th timeline. Godspeed, my dude. Cheers.